All right, so quick Bible talk. I'm gonna be telling y'all how I was able to overcome my addiction to watching, I don't know if I can say it, but hopefully I don't get striking like that, but pornography and masturbation. So off rip, only way I was able to do that was through the power of Christ, 100%. Like, it was no other way for me to even quit that. I just couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it. Do a quick little backstory. I first discovered it when I was like 8 years old. So from the time I was 8 years old all the way up to the time I was 19 years old, I was masturbating and watching pornography. So that's pretty crazy. Like, so no 8-year-old even know what that stuff is, let alone they shouldn't even know what sex is. They shouldn't even be hearing the word sex. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, I did end up knowing what it was. I came across it, but it all worked out for the greater good because now I get to be here and I get to tell y'all and help y'all overcome the same thing. So yeah, when I was 8 years old, that's how I first discovered it. And then, yeah, it just kind of went on from there. After that, when I was free from it, I got free from it when I was 19 years old. So 11 solid years, man, 11 solid years of just, you know what I'm saying, doing that. But it didn't become a struggle because it was just a habit for me until I got to about age 19, actually, yeah. Because through all that time, I ain't seen nothing wrong with it. I thought it was good. I thought it was cool. You know, I thought it was straight. It was just a part of my everyday life, you know, everyday habit. And when I got 19, actually, when I got saved, I gave my life to Christ. I got baptized and all that. That's when I started to kind of see things, right? I started to see stuff different. And that's when it got around a time where I started to struggle with it. Masturbation, I started to struggle with it, you know? And yeah, it became a struggle. So at first, it was just a normal occurrence, a normal thing, normal habit that I was doing throughout my time. And then when I hit like 19, after I got saved and all that, that's when it became a struggle. So it wasn't a struggle up until that point. So at some point, God has to kind of lift that veil off your eyes for you to actually see, or else you just won't see it. But yeah, so number one, I was truly ready to let go. All right, truly ready to let go. All right, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Psalms chapter 55, verse 22. Cast your burdens on the Lord, and he shall sustain you. He shall never permit the righteous to be moved. All right, so pretty much when I was, instead of me trying to fight it on my own, that's when I got to a point where I allowed him to do it. I fully surrendered and I was actually ready to let it go. And I casted everything onto him. I said, here, Lord, you're going to have to do this. You're going to take this from me. I need your help. I can't do it. And when I did that, immediately, I promise you, immediately. So let's get to that. One night when I was doing it, and it was another thing too, it got so bad to the point where I was doing it every single day, 7 days a week, at least 3 times a day, at least once to 3 times a day. Sometimes it got crazy, it was 5. But during that time too, I was having sex with like multiple different women too. You know what I'm saying? So you can just imagine, cause some days I didn't have energy to do nothing, cause I'd just be in my room. I didn't have energy to do nothing. Like tired. I just had no energy, cause it drains you. And it really does drain you. And it had me in a chokehold, man. So it was crazy, bro. But yeah, so one night I was doing it, and you know, every time I would do it, I feel so much shame and guilt, so much just a repeated cycle of I do it, I don't really want to do it, but someone's kind of forcing me to do it so I can't help myself. And I do it, I feel a whole bunch of shame, guilt, conviction, and then time passed and I do it again. But this time I was like, nah, that's it, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to let go. I'm done with it, I ain't doing this no more, that's it. And once I did that, I got up, got on the computer. I was like, typed in how to overcome, you know, watching pornography, masturbation, all that. Because after I got saved, I started to see that I was wrong. But now I'm kind of like in a place where I'm like a slave to it. I'm stuck. You know, I can't really get out of it. So I got on the computer, looked up some. I can't remember his name. I'm gonna have to go back and find him. But when I go back and find him, I'm gonna link his name on the video. I'm gonna put his name in the description. Y'all can go see. But watched one of his videos about pornography and all that stuff. Right? It was a sermon, and literally, I prayed this prayer. Because, you know, we was talking about, he was talking about his sermon and he prayed a prayer at the end. I prayed this prayer. After I prayed that prayer, immediately, I could feel like something being lifted off me immediately when I finished praying. I promise you. Like, as soon as I finished that prayer, it felt like something had lifted off me. It felt like weight had been came off me at that point. And I was like, and after that day, I haven't thought about it, haven't looked at it, I haven't done the act, nothing. I ain't masturbated and I ain't watched pornography or adult content in 3 years now. So that was back in 2021. It was kind of like in 2021 going 2022. So 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. Because in, was it 3 years? Or was it 2 now? Is it going on 3 years or is it 4 years? I mean, wait. I don't know, man. It's something like that. I think it's 3 years. I know in 2021, that's when I stopped. It was like at the end of 2021. So you can kind of deem that as, yeah, so 3 years, yeah. 3 years clean now. 3 years clean, not going on 4. Haven't watched pornography, haven't masturbated, did none of that. So what I'm getting at is, the whole thing was, I was truly ready to surrender. God can't do anything in your life until you wholeheartedly surrender to him and you make him the Lord of your life, all right? And yeah, but some things that I do now to kind of ensure that I don't fall back into that, or I try to, avoid it, because I haven't beat lust as a whole. Like, as a whole, I ain't ready to beat lust yet. All right, I still struggle with fornication, sex outside of marriage, and I still struggle with lust, man. I still get tempted. I still struggle with it. I still wrestle with it. That's very, very difficult. Actually, if you have not had sex outside of marriage, great, don't do it. All right, because this is a lot more difficult than dealing with masturbation, pornography. All right, this is a lot more difficult. Now, one thing you gotta do is recognize your triggers. All right, so you gotta just kind of think, what triggered this, or what triggers you to want to go watch pornography? Most likely, what happens is, throughout the day, we might see some. We might be out somewhere. We might see a girl. She, not girls is not cause women nowadays, they half naked. Or let's say if you're a woman, you might see this dude on like Instagram or something like that doing a thirst trap or whatever on Snapchat. So you might have seen that, and it might not have no effect right then, but later on when nighttime come, it pops back up in your mind. You start thinking about it. You start imagining yourself with that person, this and that, and then you get horny or whatever, and then you end up watching pornography and masturbating, right? So really recognize your triggers, like what actually is causing you to want to do it. What's activating that trigger? So I'm gonna read this verse to you. So Matthew chapter 5, verse 29 through 30. If your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out and cast it from you, for it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than for your whole body to be cast into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and cast it from you, for it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than for your whole body to be cast into hell. All right, so now, of course, it's not saying to actually cause harm to yourself, cut your eyes out, cut your hands off. What it's saying is take radical measures of avoiding sin. So let's say you might need to go on Instagram, you might need to block all women who posting half naked content or thirst traps or whatever, or you might need to do the same and block all men who posting thirst traps, whatever the case may be. Or let's say you might be out somewhere. And I had to do this a few times, cause like I've been out sometimes and I've seen a girl and she look good, but she got on like some, enticing or provocative clothing, to the point where I gotta, do a 180, cause so you gotta, do a 180 or something. Do that, you feel me? You gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, man, you gotta take radical measures. So what Jesus is saying is like, take extreme measures to avoid sin. So I'm gonna read you another verse. In 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18 through 20. Well, I'm just kind of highlight the first part. It says, flee from sexual immorality. All right. I'm just kind of mention that part. Flee from sexual immorality. All right. Actually flee from it. It's not saying metaphorically. It doesn't say to pray against none of that. Actually free from it. Okay, so you gotta actually run from it, like actually flee from it. because it's one of those things to where if you try to fight against on your own, you try to pray against or whatever, you most likely gonna fall. You're gonna slip up. All right. So this one's different than all the rest of the things, all the rest of the sins and everything else. So for sure, pretty much he's saying take extreme measures. If you need to, block all women who post that kind of content. It might be some type of video games, anime. That's another thing too, man. A lot of games, a lot of animes, and a lot of shows and stuff we watch, movies and stuff we watch. All that has an effect on it. It all plays a part in that. Cause it might not do it right then when we see it, but later on when we come back, that's when the action starts to take effect. And like, well, not until we come back. Later on, like at nighttime, something like that, when we by ourselves, chilling, whatever, in the room, in the dark, finna go to sleep, that's when they actually kick in. Those images pop back up in our mind. So we gotta be very mindful about like what we see, what we look at, what we listen to, music too, man. A lot of music too. The words, the lyrics in the music, that can be causing that. So really just take time to examine and really pay attention to what triggers it. So that way you figure out what triggers it, you can catch it. And yeah, so that's another thing too. Go on your Instagram, you see a post like that, click them 3 dots, you should see something come up about not interested. And put not interested. Get it off your For You page. Movies, trying to watch certain movies that got those scenes, and if it does got a scene like that, skip it. You know what I'm saying? If you see a girl out and she got something on that's kind of, arousing you or getting you, aroused or enticing you, look the other way. Do a 180. Look away. Look down at your phone. I only have to do that plenty of times because I have to, hit a smooth 180. So sometimes that's just what you gotta do. But yeah, man. So that's pretty much how I was able to overcome watching pornography and doing masturbation. So hope this helped y'all, man. Because I know for a fact this will help somebody else too, man. I'm trying to give it a try, man. But you got to be wholehearted, ready to actually give it up, because God doesn't want to free you from this thing and just for you to run back to it. Because I done did that plenty of times. I done got free from it and went right back to it. And each time you do that, it get worse than the last time. So for sure, man, he don't want to free you from this thing just for you to go back. He wants to free you for good. He wants you to be healed and freed and renewed from it for good. So yeah, that's my main advice, man. Be wholeheartedly ready to let it go. You know what I'm saying? If you're not ready to let it go, ask the Holy Spirit to, help you out, man. Be real with him. Tell him, like, I ain't gonna lie, man, I like doing this. I know it's wrong, but I like doing it. So, you're gonna have to help me. Just be honest, cuz, that's another thing too, being open and honest, not to try to hide anything. Don't try to hide from them. But yeah, man, I hope this helped y'all try some of the, maybe try some of them tips I gave you. But yeah, for sure. Catch y'all in that video.